It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Crowd is set again. Oh, John, boom!
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets Benny in the car.
To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker! Kenny Walker! Touchdown! Spotty!
Goff's got it. Back, looks, throws, ends up.
Yes!
Caught! Touchdown, Detroit Lions! They did it! Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end!
Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here! A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Good Wednesday morning to you, the 7th day of June 2023. We welcome you here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, Anthony Bellino, all joining you. Thank you for joining us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. You can text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000 sports radio to 21000. Our Myers Supercenter guest line 248-951-2176. 248-951-2176. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros. And, of course, good morning to our television audience as well on both BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Add a .com to that to find our website. Danny Cahalan is a Dan in the studio. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. And I'm Anthony Bellino at AEC Bellino. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you. Happy Wednesday. It's hump day. What's going on over there? How are we? What's happening? What's new?
Tigers are holding open tryouts today. If you can hit a baseball, you might make the team.
Man, what a disappointing game last
Dude,
night.
they've
Great
been
outing from the staff.
They've been no hit for a total of like 11 and a third innings in the last 2 games.
That wouldn't happen if Riley Green was around.
Well, you can just tell he does. That bat being there just, puts everybody else down a notch, which helps. So yeah, it does stink. I saw I don't know if you saw the injury report during the game. Alex Faedo had to have a procedure on his fingernail. So I guess probably removed, right? You would think.
Stitch it back together. Gorilla Glue.
Oof.
I have no idea. We're as bad as the Cincinnati Reds.
Remember when we were 1 game back of 500 like 6 days ago?
Yeah, last week. We were going into the weekend. We were going to be above 500 when we reconvened on Monday. Of course. How could we forget? Yeah, this, once again, it's not, it's not a roster that can survive these types of injuries. There just isn't enough there to be able to save this team.
Also, can we just play some basketball games in this series?
No, you
Why
gotta
is
have
this
days off, bro? You have to. You have to have the days off. It's the only thing that's going to get us through this month is an abnormally a strange amount of time off in between games to carry it. It's documentary season. What was I supposed to watch last night? The Mets, or 30 for 30. You know what I mean? Like those were your options from a sports perspective.
Yeah, because the TBS, there was supposed to be a TBS baseball game last night, but it got rained out.
Yeah, that was it was the Mets game was on.
Oh, did they end up actually playing? Because it was rain. It was in a delay for a long time.
Yeah,
They they did like an hour of rain delay coverage and then went to like Family Guy or something.
Really?
Yeah.
I would have went straight to the sitcom. We'll be back at, whenever this comes back, keep it tuned right here, and then just put the bug on the screen like, hey, by the way, nice shirt. What is that? Is it like a floral print? What is that?
Yeah, it's Under Armour. Got it from Carl's a couple weeks ago.
Really? Who's
Yeah.
Carl? Do they sell more stuff? Do you know Carl?
I don't.
Is it a garage
Does anybody know? Maybe that's just like something that somebody they made up. You would think like if Carl is a real person, maybe he'd be in the commercials or something.
You would think, but no, there's never anything about that. There's been so much time off between games. Tyler Hero got healthy. How crazy is that? Like that's the beauty of it. But yeah, back to your original question. Can we just play some basketball? We'll play tonight. We'll play Friday, and then we'll have another hopefully 2 days off. I think going into next Monday. But yeah, think about it. They nothing on. It's the worst. This is the dead zone. This is why I wish the NHL would postpone the start of their season and not begin until mid-November. I wish they would. Like, let's carry the regular season a month and a half. Let's take it all the way to the beginning of training, like actual training camp. Like, let's take this into July. We'll have NBA Summer League's right around the corner. But no offense. Like, dude, I'm not watching the WNBA. Like, that's just not, I have no interest in it. It'd be like somebody putting on lacrosse. Like, I'm not watching that. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me how many highlights you show me of Johns Hopkins University and how great they are. I'm not watching lacrosse. It's not happening. Like, it's there's big news yesterday. Big news. The PGA Tour and the LIV Tour are going to merge. And I hadn't had the chance to bring this up, but I finally watched some LIV Tour golf while I was in Chicago during Memorial Day. One of my buddies loves, he's obsessed with the golf. And so this is a newer thing as of the last couple of years. He just picked up the game, and he is obsessed. So he had the LIV Tour on the television. And while watching it, there were some things that I found were very, very interesting throughout the course of the broadcast that I just never got a chance to really talk about because there was a million other things going on. It's like, LIV Tour, who cares anyways? Nobody's watching that on the CW. Turns out nobody is watching it on the CW, which is hilarious. But the LIV Tour and PGA Tour merge. We'll get to that at 6:35. We'll get to it at 8:35. We'll get to the commissioner at 8:17. Like, we got a ton of coverage. I got one message immediately. Said, can't wait to listen to the show tomorrow to hear your thoughts on what's taking place. And it's like, yeah, no, I'm excited to get out there.
Pretty funny how Rory changed his tone over the last couple months. Huh.
Who did?
Rory.
What did he say?
He didn't say anything.
Why would he say anything?
Because he knew this was coming.
Nobody knew this was coming.
Come on. Some people knew it was coming. You don't think this Tiger and Rory Monday night indoor league is going to have something to do with this?
No, not at first. I don't think that it had anything to do with it.
I'm saying
that's a
it will
really
be part of
interesting
it.
hypothesis, Dan. Because I haven't heard Rory say anything about the LIV Tour. Because why would you? There's no point talking about it.
Prior to this, the last 2 months, he has literally he said, "I don't want to talk about it anymore,"
which is fair. He's talked enough about it. That's a fair response. That's just like a football player that's got a case of the drops going. You know what? Next question. That's all you do. I don't want to talk. You guys have been asking me about this for what, 2 years? Year and a half? I don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm done talking about it. Why do I talk about this? I don't play on that tour. Just keep it moving. And then the news yesterday. Guys finding out. Colin Morikawa tweeting out that he's finding out about it on Twitter. Oh, Jay Monahan pulls the rug out on the players. Oh, my God. Lots to get to. Don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Carter can help your business today. Go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew.
Hey, this is Matt Shepard from the Michigan Sports Network. I love summers in Michigan because it means golf season. Now, two things always when I go golfing. I make sure I got my sticks, and I've got plenty of cold, fresh Labatt Blue Light. Whether I've just squeezed in 18 holes or I just want to relax on the patio after a long day, everywhere I go, and I'm serious when I tell you this, I tell people about the smooth, genuine taste of Labatt Blue Light. It's just a great beer. Michigan Sports Network is giving you a chance to win a foursome to Michigan's best courses. Just listen weekdays to The Huge Show and X's and Bros, or just text GOLF to 21,000 to enter. That's GOLF to 21,000. The trip includes 2 overnight stays and 2 rounds of golf, all brought to you by my friends at Labatt Blue Light. So grab a Labatt Blue Light the next time you head out onto the course and enjoy the blue skies, because blue is for Michigan summers and great times. Always enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023 Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All rights reserved. Labatt is a registered U.S. trademark of Labatt Brewing Company, Ltd.
Share your thoughts all morning long on the Meyer Guest Line. Call 248-951-2176. That's 248-951-2176. Now, back to Danny, Ryan, and AB.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you riding along with us, no matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening. Great weather. There's some cloud cover, though. It's made its way. I don't know if you saw the Yankees game, but the wildfires that are burning right now in Quebec basically smoked out the Yankees game last night, which I found is very interesting. A buddy of mine asked me if I had seen the wildfires in British Columbia and why it's so it's not cloudy here, it's smoky. And I'm like, I haven't seen anything about fires in British Columbia. Well, it just happens to be that it was in Quebec, which is just like on the opposite side. It's like, have you seen any wildfires in Maine? And they're taking place in Los Angeles. Golf season is here. Matt Golden and his team are ready to welcome you to one of the best golfing experiences in the great state of Michigan. I'm excited to swing him tonight. Got Golf League with my dad. Tullymore Golf Resort in Canadian Lakes offers not one but two championship courses, Tullymore and St. Ives. It's located about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. It's up north golf without the drive, and it's got the lodging to be able to cater to you, your partner, your foursome, up to 400 of your closest friends and family and coworkers. Visit TullymoreGolf.com. That's TullymoreGolf.com. Or call 1-800-972-4837, 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. As we welcome you back here, the Detroit Tigers 1-0 losers last night to the Philadelphia Phillies. They did manage 3 hits. They had 1 error, and it was a fielding error by Maton. But it was a pretty long day for some of the bullpen. Tyler Alexander got the start, 3 innings pitched, gave up a hit and an earned run, struck out 3 through 45 pitches before Cisnero came in, gave him an inning of shutout ball, and then Holton gave him 2 innings, and then Vest gave him 2. Holton gave up a couple of hits, had a couple of strikeouts, no big deal. But a really good outing there from the staff, and you feel like that's a game that you really want to win, considering the joint effort on the mound. But this is a team that I would be surprised to see if there was another team in Major League Baseball that on any given night has 3 to 4 hitters that hit less than 200. I would be very surprised. Last night for the Tigers, they had Maton batting cleanup at hitting 162. Jake Rogers catching, he's hitting 149 at the bottom of the lineup. Marisnik hitting last in the lineup. He was 0 for 2 with a couple of Ks. He's hitting 167. And the pinch hitter, second base, is Andy Ibanez, and he's hitting 177 this year. Whereas, take a look on the flip side, Castellanos is hitting 315. Kyle Schwarber, the leadoff man's hitting 173, and everybody else in the Phillies lineup is better than 230.
Well, Kyle Schwarber has like 17 home runs, though.
Yeah, he had 16. He had 1 last night in the first inning. And that was it. The Tigers were, 0 for 5 with runners in scoring position, stranded 6, just awful. Just awful. 13 team strikeouts for the Tigers. So our magic number of Tigers batting discipline skyrocketed to 13 last night against the Phillies. And the Phillies with the win are 29-32 now. The Tigers with the loss 26-33. Right there at 500 and just spiraling out of control. Now, we still have a half-game lead on Chicago, even though we've lost 5 in a row, and they've won 4 in a row. We're only 4 games back in the division because Cleveland is 27-33. They lost. Minnesota's lost 3 consecutive. They're 1 game over 500 at 31-30. And, like I said, you have the White Sox, then the Royals at the bottom of the barrel, 18-43. This is this Tigers team better be able to figure out a way to pull themselves out of this right now. Because this is, okay, it's just 1 game. Okay, it's just 3 games. Okay, it's just 5 games. This is the worst stretch in the season so far. I mean, think about that. Think about where your expectations were at for this club walking into this thing. And the second worst, they did have a 6-game losing streak after winning 2 to begin the year. So remember, they started off, 2-9? So they lost 3, won 2, lost 6 before they turned up the heat to win 5 in a row. I mean, this is like this is looking very much like a Red Wings sort of results, starting with that Mets series in early May. Win 5, lose 1, go back and forth, lose 2, win 2. You know, it's just like the Wings have been very, very consistent in that.
58 strikeouts the last 5 games. So
good God.
Yes. Need to pick that up.
In the one that Javi swung at, not last night, but the night before. I mean, for the love.
Well, it's those,
that wasn't anywhere close to him.
When he swings at those, it's like he's doing it as a I'm going to strike out all the time type of deal. It's like that. It was 3 feet outside when the guy released it and he swung at it.
It was almost as if the pitcher was throwing it purposely there.
No, that because Javi Baez is making his mind up before the pitch comes. I'm swinging at this no matter what.
That's not good. That right there. I think that's a really good point. I think that is very much where you see like quarterbacks who have predetermined where they're going with the football before they see the defense. Play call comes in, they know exactly. You do the same thing in Madden. Right? You do the same thing in Madden. This is my favorite play. I'm going to X. Right? And you get out there, and it's like, well, where's that safety at? You know, you're not even reading the defense. You're not even looking at it. You're just X. Like, that's interesting. You know, you can't do that. You might be able to get away with that in high school, but you're not going to get away with that in the professional, like Major League Baseball. What are you, nuts? Jeez Louise. Javi, by the way, yesterday, 1 for 4. 2 strikeouts, so not bad. Hitting 219. Terrible. Feel bad for all the folks that got their hopes up over this club. People like me. Every time. You get excited about it. They're playing pretty well. They're right there on the cusp. We could talk about them making a push for the division. The good news is everybody else stinks in this division. So it's not like they're completely out of it. It's not like this series against the Phillies and the prior one against the White Sox is going to be the death of the organization. But, you have a divisional matchup there in which you get swept. You're more than likely going to get swept with Game 3 today. Like I don't foresee how this is going to go any other direction. I mean, you can't manufacture really any offense whatsoever. You get a great outing from the bullpen, and you squander it because you finally get a guy on base. I read yesterday a guy that I used to do morning radio, and he would do evenings, and he said the best time down in Toledo. He said the best time to bet on the Tigers is live betting once they get a runner on base. He's like, because then the odds get juiced, and you just take the other team on the money line because we're not gonna score that run anyways. He's like, get rich, enjoy it. And Brian Chapman, I was like, oh my god, like yeah, dude, you're 100% right. It's the perfect time to bet against the Tigers. Do it right there. I mean, 5 consecutive losses, 1-7 in the last 8, just awful. And there's a common theme here in the fact they can't score runs. So over these 5 consecutive losses, they'll have 6 runs in 5 games. That ain't going to do it. Come on now. You're crazy. All right, we're going to step aside. Enough of that. They play today at 6:05. Good luck. Godspeed. Good riddance. And maybe we'll have something positive to talk about because they have an off day tomorrow before they begin their weekend series against the, who do they play this weekend? Arizona. So 6:05 tonight, off day tomorrow. And then 6:40, 1:10, 11:35 Peacock streaming game on Sunday. So we can play more about streaming earlier in the week, next week. We'll step aside. We'll be back. The PGA Tour, the LIV Tour, they have merged. We're going to take a look at this from all angles. Jay Monahan, the ultimate hypocrite. Saudis, did they fold their tents? Did they give in? What happens next? What about the players? We'll talk about it next year. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Hey, Meyer.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd.
Let's root for the home team. This week, shop Meyer for 30% off Tigers apparel. Exclusions apply. Meyer, your proud hometown partner of the Detroit Tigers. Now that's a winning team.
4 is 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
The Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police wants you to know that June is Gun Violence Awareness Month. Why do we need to recognize gun violence? Because we can stop it before it happens. Many people contemplating an act of gun violence display significant or sudden changes in their behavior. If you know what to look for, you can be the difference. Search 10 critical warning signs of violence or contact your local police department to learn more.
From planting a simple seed to managing a global food supply, growing, processing, and distributing food is the backbone of America. You deal with food safety and labor issues, cost control, and not to mention Mother Nature. But do you have time to explore research development and biotechnical tax credits? Properly administer payroll for temporary employees. Ensure that you're operating at your most profitable? That's where we come in. We're Bean Garter. And while your business is America's food supply, our business is helping you run your business better. We'll assist with tax credits, assess your processes and controls, and so much more. And while we may not be able to help you plant your crops, we can help you realize a rich financial harvest. From the family farm to worldwide distribution of all the things you grow, grow your business better. Experience service, expertise, and simplicity at Bean Garter. Find us online, beangarter.com. Bean Garter.
You're listening to X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network. Can't call in? Text us using the keyword sports radio and send it to 21000 or tweet us at XB Mornings. Now back to Danny Cahalan, Ryan Elke, and Anthony Bellino.
I talked to a handful of players this morning, a couple before the announcement was made, and it was just complete and utter shock. Some very colorful language, some very upset players. I had one player tell me, why would we do this now? The LIV Tour is dead in the water. It's not working, and now we're going to throw them a life jacket. It's ludicrous. There are a lot of people and players and members upset about how this went down, that they were kept in the dark about it. There was a player advisory committee meeting at the Memorial last week in Columbus, Ohio. Monahan and some other PGA Tour officials were there. I'm told by players who were in the room that there was no mention of a possible merger. I obtained a memo that Monahan sent to PGA Tour members this morning. In that, he said that they're going to try to come up with a fair way to possibly reinstate guys who left the PGA Tour to go to the LIV Golf League. The DP World Tour is going to try to do the same, but it should be noted that Monahan put in that memo, it's going to be under current PGA Tour rules and regulations, so those players could still face fines and or suspensions if they want to come back.
The PGA Tour and the LIV Tour have merged. The big breaking news, what took place yesterday, under one umbrella is where we're going now with the PGA and LIV Golf Tours, along with the DP World Tour. But the past 18 months, you have Phil Mickelson, you have Dustin Johnson, Bryson DeChambeau, Brooks Koepka, all taking hundreds of millions of dollars. Guys like Tiger, Rory, Rahm, all saying no to it. And two different tours, if you will. One tour in one knockoff sideshow that was, 10 events? Like, come on. That's not a tour. But anyways, the investment fund from the Saudis pumping all this money into getting these players. They failed to get any sort of TV deal done, and they were struggling. Now, here's the thing. The private investment fund from Saudi Arabia has more money than God. So it's not to say that the Saudis were, in trouble. This isn't like, an American company like Diamond Sports Group, for example, filing bankruptcy and not being able to pay people. Like these they're not going to run out of money anytime soon. They're not. And I don't care how electric they want our vehicles to go, even though they got to mine the stuff out of Africa and ship it all over the world. That's going to use plenty of oil all in itself just to get the battery from one place to the next. Right? Maybe one of the biggest shams in the history of global e-commerce, but whatever. You have this idea that they are going to begin their own tour and they're going to fund it themselves. And they're doing the same thing in soccer right now. They have a Saudi soccer league that is probably overall worse than MLS from a product standpoint. But they're just going to try to buy the biggest names possible. Some guys are going to take the money and head on over there. Cristiano Ronaldo has done it. Lionel Messi's name has brought up, although that deal hasn't been finalized. Karim Benzema leaving Real Madrid and taking his beautiful girlfriend with him. Oh, no! Going to the Saudi league. Like, I mean, what are you going to do? Like, they have more money. They are buying into Premier League clubs. That's why Manchester City finds itself at the top of the table, for the last, 6-7 years. Because they've got the money and money talks. But they started this golf tour. That's kind of a circus, right? They bring the circus to town for 54 holes, and I finally got an opportunity to watch some of it on TV over the Memorial Day weekend. I was out in the hotel room, we're getting ready to go, and, a buddy of mine who has a recent obsession with golf over the last 2 to 3 years, brand new to the game. We've been bringing him along and up to speed, and just like the little chicken in the nest that's getting ready to fly, He is now, his wife is getting into the game, and they're going to the driving range together, and he's talking about golf. He's thinking about golf. He's loving golf. He can't get enough golf. And he throws on the LIV Tour. So I'm watching it, right? And they're like, well, what are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. It's asking, talking all this stuff and asking questions and bouncing things back and forth. Just talking about the ideas of, what it would be like to play like them. And there were a couple things on the broadcast that I really liked. One, I do like the full-blown, sidebar scoreboard. I don't know if I like it on the left side versus the right side, but that might just be how my eye is trained. I love the digital hole map on the screen on the LIV broadcast. The guy will be on 17, for example, and they'll show a picture of 17 on the side where, the entire hole and, how far his drive went, where he's at for his second shot. That'll all be mapped out on the screen. I think that's great because,
because some people have realized TVs aren't 20 inches wide anymore. You can put a lot of stuff on a TV screen because most people's TV is 40 inches at least. Most people, I would imagine everybody has a 50-inch, as their big TV that they watch. So, yeah, you can put stuff on the screen and people
look
can
at all the
still
stuff
read
we got on the screen.
Exactly.
We got scroll bars up top. We got bottom, we got sidebar. We got stuff everywhere. You could, you're right. My small TVs in my man cave, the way that I have it set up is I have two smaller TVs that are above a big TV. And I think those are 32 inches, I think, give or take. You could put it on there. I love when they do, draft stuff and they have the sidebar on the left and the scroll at the bottom and then the picture that, I want as much information on the TV as possible because it gives me something to look at and something to learn about instead of watching a guy. And I could still watch the guy talk to his caddy, and they can go and have a discussion about their club and, what shot he wants to hit. And he's in the rough and the caddy's giving him yardages and distances and all this other stuff. That's great. But put stuff on the screen. I don't need all the colors everywhere. That part of it's just I don't need teal, pink, black, all this random stuff. That I can do without. You just give me a standard color scheme and we could just go with it from there. There's a regular palette, not something that you found in Microsoft Paint. But those were a couple things that I liked about the LIV broadcast, right? What I didn't like about the LIV Tour is that it's a knockoff exhibition thing. That's just, you have a group here that can afford to take away all of these big name players.
Yeah, see, but Anthony, you didn't watch the whole. You only watched probably the first hour, correct, or something like that, of the broadcast. You didn't see any of the special features that they do or anything, or maybe you didn't see the end. Where, see, the best part about LIV is that it's a shotgun start, so everybody's starting on a different hole. So, yeah, the leader might be playing the really easy holes. But guess what? Dustin Johnson or whoever is playing the difficult holes while he's playing the easy holes, and there's huge swings throughout the day because of that. That's why people like watching it, because it's not just 1 through 18. Everybody's playing the course differently.
Which, is easy to do if you're going off in 3s or 4s because you only have, 50 plus guys in the event. You can do a shotgun start. It's a little different when you have, 100 and so many people in the field. But yeah, I don't know of anybody that was, tuned into the LIV Tour. I don't know anybody that really was oh, we got to watch the LIV Golf this week, And people are well, the tradition, the young people don't care about tradition. You don't think the young players on the tour care about the Masters? You don't think they care about the U.S. Open? You don't think they care about Jack's tournament, the Memorial? You don't think that they care about these things? You're out of your mind. Some guys were offered a large lump sum of money, and they took it. And then there was this epic struggle of good versus evil. The one thing I didn't like in this whole idea of the LIV Golf Tour was this constant use of the word sports washing. Like, how holy art thou to tell somebody else how to spend their money? Especially when you look into how we've been spending our money very recently. And you're mad because they have a different set of rules and a different way of life and a different level of moral standard in a different country that you have no say over.
I say, is it sports washing? Sure. But it gets to a point with people. It's like, how many things are we supposed to care about? How many things are we supposed to alter our whole life around? Because if so, stop buying clothes from retail stores. Because we all know how those are made.
Stop buying Nikes, iPhones. What else?
Right.
I love the new Apple goggles for $3,500 because the kids that are making those in China, they are wearing them because they're simulating a playground. Did you see that report?
But it's like, you can call it sports washing, but you gotta parents gotta pick and choose your battles here of what you want to stand on the table for.
Oh, that's not a hill you want to die on.
No, it's
that's not a hill, especially with us.
It's not a hill you even want to climb.
No, especially with us.
Well, it's just an exhausting hill because then you can't have anything in your life. Like, because you can go back. Are you going to eat the chicken that's genetically modified where these chickens are just born pumped with steroids and they're so fat their legs break and then die?
Chickens are so big, they turn into ostriches because they can't get their heads up.
But it's like, you can look into anything that you enjoy in your life and find something morally wrong with it.
That's probably a pretty accurate statement.
It definitely is.
Probably a pretty.
So it's just one of those things. It's like, it's golf, all right. And this, I don't even know if it's the beginning because the Saudi Public Fund has been kind of doing this for a few years, like you said with Premier League. Just wait until it starts leaking into other sports.
And they're buying everything.
Yeah.
And, you know, I there was one debate that was taking place yesterday in the old group chat over, you know, what constitutes a loss. Well, the actual LIV Golf Tour, considering the money that they had invested, they were losing money. The LIV Golf Tour was losing. And that's why one of the PGA players had said, like, why would we do it? Like, nope, we are winning this battle. Why would you throw them the life preserver now? Well, how much longer do you want to go through litigation? And if there is an opportunity to merge where I forget what his name is, and I'm probably not going to say it right anyways, but basically the director of this LIV Tour is going to be a major stakeholder, and they are going to be
Yasser.
Yeah, Yasser.
They are going Yasser Arafat.
Yeah, they're going to be the what was the correct term that they used in which what his position is going to be. They're going to be a major stakeholder, and they're going to have the exclusive. Oh,
they're pretty much going to be the main investor into the three leagues, and so because it sounded like the PGA Tour, who last year when LIV was popping off, they went and tapped out all their sponsors.
Yeah,
to try to pay the big payday they wanted to promise their PGA players. And you know what you can't keep doing? Going back to that well. You know what the PIF can do? Keep going to their well because it's filled with oil.
Yeah, their well is incredibly deep. You don't want to keep, you know, badgering the same folks over the same things all the time. That much is for sure. And you had the antitrust allegations that were made. PGA Tour found itself in a bad spot legally. You know, what was the DOJ going to do about it? You know, the PIF could have they had enough money they could bleed out the tour. Now the tour is actually still going to somehow maintain its tax exempt status, which I, for one, feel is a complete crock of you know what. Because for me, it is the guy's name is Al Rumayyan. Rumayyan. That's how you spell it. And Al-Rumayyan met with Monahan in London recently. They had lunch, played golf the next day, then had lunch again. Who doesn't love lunch? And Al-Rumayyan said should be finalized in a matter of weeks, this deal. And here is basically the biggest question about all this. How in the world is this going to operate as the exclusive, I don't know, finance part, whatever the terminology
Yeah,
is.
it's weird because
executive,
they're all together, but the PGA is still keeping their nonprofit exemption.
Which doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
That's what I was referring to, their tax-exempt status as a 501(c)(3) or whatever.
Well, I think a lot of that
they're a C6.
If I had to bet, it's because they probably talked to some government people. I mean, they were being investigated by the U.S. government, but the PGA gives more money away than all four major sports combined.
Well,
So
they have to, the way they're
set up. Exactly. But that's their
They
thing.
could have been giving that money to their players, and then maybe we wouldn't have found ourselves in this position to begin with.
Yeah, but then they also wouldn't be getting the sponsorships.
Right, but
they
they're
wouldn't
going
have
to be
a St. Jude.
they're
They
going
wouldn't
to
have
be
a St. Jude
for-profit.
Classic. They wouldn't have a St. Jude Classic if there was no St. Jude Hospital.
St. Jude could still sponsor an event. They still advertise on television.
I know that, but I'm saying they're getting more money from that, so they sponsor the full event.
Right, I understand that portion of it, but if you told the guys who didn't sign to stay loyal, Tiger says no, Rory says no, Rahm says no.
Imagine Will Zalatoris. I think he was offered $200 million, and he hasn't played golf this year.
What is the PGA Tour going to do to try to make good on that? There's question number one. All the guys that stayed loyal, there's question number one. Because I'll tell you what, these whatever those events were that the PGA Tour was trying to plan, what were they called? Their premier events that they were having. They were only going to be the top however many people. There's your live events. Like, that's what it is. That plain and simple, that's the easiest way to do it. When I first saw this, I was like, okay, well, you take those. What was the name of those events?
Like the elevated events.
Yeah, your new elevated events. Those could just be the live events, right? So that maybe they can mix it up like that. We're gonna talk more about this. You'll hear from the commish Jay Monahan as well on the program today. But plenty. I feel like we just scratched the surface of this. Hey, by the way, in case you weren't aware, you can step into the world of nonstop action over the DraftKings Casino. Play the classics like blackjack, roulette, slots, plus enjoy exclusive games you can't find anywhere else. Right now, new customers who deposit at least $5 can get a match of their first deposit and score up to $2,000 in casino bonus funds. All you have to do is sign up, select the offer of your choice, and start playing from a full suite of games. Download the DraftKings Casino app right now. Sign up using the promo code HUGE and get a match on your first deposit of $5 or more, up to $2,000 in casino bonus funds. Only at DraftKings Casino, only using the promo code HUGE. Now, if you or somebody who knows a gambling problem wants help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline at 800-270-7117. 21 plus, Michigan only. One per opt-in customer. Minimum $5 deposit. Max match $2,000. Deposit and bonus amounts require 15 times playthrough within 30 days. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/players choice. Restrictions do apply. Hour 2 is next. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Hey, this is Matt Shepard from the Michigan Sports Network. I love summers in Michigan because it means golf season. Now, two things always when I go golfing. I make sure I got my sticks, and I've got plenty of cold, fresh Labatt Blue Light. Whether I've just squeezed in 18 holes or I just want to relax on the patio after a long day, everywhere I go, and I'm serious when I tell you this, I tell people about the smooth, genuine taste of Labatt Blue Light. It's just a great beer. Michigan Sports Network is giving you a chance to win a foursome to Michigan's best courses. Just listen weekdays to the Huge Show and X's and Bros, or just text golf to 21,000 to enter. That's golf to 21,000. The trip includes 2 overnight stays and 2 rounds of golf, all brought to you by my friends at Labatt Blue Light. So grab a Labatt Blue Light the next time you head out onto the course and enjoy the blue skies, because blue is for Michigan summers and great times. Always enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023 Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All rights reserved. Labatt is a registered U.S. trademark of Labatt Brewing Company, Ltd.
Dad, the big guy, Pops, whatever you call him. Find everything for him this Father's Day at Meijer. Shop 25% off Carhartt Men's Force tops and 20% off Stanley tools, toolboxes, and accessories. Find the perfect card to tell him how much he means to you and search for the perfect gift, because no matter what he's into, you can find it all in one stop. Plus, get the same low prices online and in-store for easy home delivery and pickup. Get more for your money at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Perfectly primed steaks, handcrafted cocktails, warm hospitality. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, coming soon to Soaring Eagle Casino Resort. This isn't just any dining experience. It's an unparalleled steakhouse experience where USDA prime beef is cooked to perfection and your last bite is as good as your first. All with a sign of Ruth's legendary hospitality. Ruth's Chris Steakhouse, coming soon to Soaring Eagle Casino Resort. Your getaway reimagined.
If you or your family is touched by autism, learn more about Freddy's Foundation at #PopTheTab at FreddyThePizzaman.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com, or email FreddyThePizzaman@gmail.com.
Huge here for all the Mr. Car Wash locations across Michigan. You're going to want to look into that unlimited monthly pass that I use. Superfly Hayes, my producer, uses it. I can get my SUV washed as often as I like for one low price. You can sign up today. Just go to MrCarWash.com or stop by your local Mr. Car Wash location here in Michigan for the one close to you. And to get that unlimited pass, go to MrCarWash.com.
Good morning, everyone.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It's a good morning. Wake up to a brand new day.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Vietnam.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here, X's and Bros, hour number 2 on this Wednesday, the 7th day of January 2023. So great to have you riding along with us. No matter who you are, where you are, how you may be listening, all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio, from Traverse City down to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. And, of course, we encourage you. Join the program at any time. Text the keyword sports radio. Send that to 21,000 sports radio to 21000. Meyer Supercenter guest line 248-951-2176. 248-951-2176. We're on Twitter at XB Mornings, Facebook, X's and Bros, and of course, good morning to our television audience as well on BCSN and streaming live on our YouTube page at Michigan Sports Network. Find our podcast, listen back to anything you might have missed on demand by visiting Google, Apple, Spotify, and of course the iHeartRadio app. Danny Cahalan is at Dan in the studio. Ryan Elke is at RyanL_Key. And I'm Anthony Bellino at AC Bellino. A couple of texts here. I should be fired. I jinxed this team, saying they would be in first place by Monday. I'm the new rally goose. That's great. Can they buy the Pistons and Red Wings, then buy Stars and eliminate their GMs? Well, it's a good idea in theory. You could do that in baseball. But with the salary cap, you cannot do that in hockey and in basketball. I guess you could in basketball if you want to pay the luxury tax like Golden State did for those years. But yeah, I mean, that's the point of the salary cap. Competitive balance is what it is supposed to bring. Competitive balance goes a little bit out the window, though, when you have free agency and ridiculous player demands that we have seen in one of those leagues where the contracts are so overinflated to begin with. Oh, how much is this guy worth? You know, I had to listen to Kyrie Irving chatter yesterday because it's the middle of the finals, and of course there's a report that Kyrie and LeBron want to be talked about during the finals. So they could have waited until afterwards, even if that's a real report about him, Kyrie trying to bring LeBron to Dallas. But I mean, why not? I mean, you think about it, I got this argument yesterday with a group of people. I just look, I don't care for Kyrie. You can put him in the Hall of Really Good, but I mean, he's destroyed 3 franchises. The Mavericks were in 7th place when he joined. They dropped all the way to 13th and out of the playoffs when he was done. So, look, that's who he is. He blew up Boston. He blew up Brooklyn. And, yeah, I got no love for Kyrie Irving. Oh, he won a championship. He only won a championship when his dad was running the show. And that's why he called him to join the Mavericks. LeBron joined the Mavericks. Yeah, right. In what Saudi Golf LIV Tour world is that? The good news about the whole Saudi LIV Tour Golf PGA Tour merge here is the admittance that the LIV Golf Tour wasn't working. That's the best part.
Are you, Anthony, please don't tell me that's what you take out of this.
Well, according to the actual Saudi Arabian private investment fund, the people that were running the show, this Mr. Sharif Al-Ramian, they didn't make any money. The LIV Tour was not making money.
Anthony, this merger happened because the PGA Tour has some skeletons that they didn't want to get out into the public eye. That's exactly why this happened.
Listen, I think you're both right. The PGA was looking at this litigation going, these people have infinite money. Are we really going to be sitting here trying to win this court case when they can just keep it going forever?
They will bleed you out.
Because guess what? Their skeletons are already out of the closet. Everyone already knows their skeletons. They don't know ours, and we want to kind of keep them there. As for LIV Golf, it's like, how much was the PIF going to keep investing, only to be turned down from every TV deal and have to be stuck on the CW on some days and go to YouTube. Yes, they have infinite money, but in a business, how much money do you want to keep burning? Because the PGA can also look at it like, hey, they're still going to keep stealing our top players, and we don't have the money to watch this fire burn out. And if you want to know how this all works out, just go watch The Office, Michael Scott Paper Company. That's exactly how it works out.
I raise you a situation.
If you want a more funnier way for this to watch this.
Yeah, I mean, look, this gimmicky 54-hole team event, circus clowns, every hole's a party. Every hole's a party. You're barely selling any tickets. Like, come on. Your tour isn't generating any revenue. You've dumped how many hundreds of millions, $2 billion into this thing, and you're not generating any revenue. That's a problem. No matter if you are a first-time business owner or a long-time business owner, if you're starting a business, and if you start a business, a fledgling business, you're just getting it off the ground, you are going to take some losses in the beginning. That's only that is what happens. Do you have the financial strength to be able to afford those losses? Because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Can you hang on long enough to turn a profit? I mean, hell, it took what? It took Amazon 18 years to get to where they're at. Now, Al Rumayyan, the governor of Saudi Arabia's sovereign wealth fund, is going to join the policy board of the PGA Tour, which continues to operate its tournaments. Al Rumayyan, I hope I'm saying it right, will be the chairman of the new commercial group, with Monahan as the CEO and the PGA Tour having a majority stake in the new venture. The Saudi investment fund will continue to invest in the commercial venture. So this is pretty interesting. Do they use the LIV Tour's money to build a tour? Because the PGA Tour is still a 501c6, you are correct, tax-exempt organization. They are still going to retain that. So is the PGA Tour still going to launder its money into quote-unquote charity? Or PGA Tour runs its events, keeps their standard basically the way that it's going, uses the LIV money to pay the players. Not a bad idea. So the PGA Tour can, basically operate on its own the way that it has been. And then the player checks would come from the LIV Tour. I don't know. There's a lot to be figured out, such as the contracts of players like Brooks Koepka and Dustin Johnson, who left for the 9-figure payday. If they could rejoin the PGA Tour after this year, that's great. If LIV folds, what happens to those contracts? Because the contracts were to be paid out over the duration of their over the duration. So if the tour folds, then what? Do they just get their first year checks, which are still abnormally large? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's still monstrous. Brooks still won a major event this year. You're not going to take that away from him. It's still a really good payday for 1 year. I mean, think about what we're arguing here.
I can't wait for next week at LA Country Club. Isn't it going to be great?
Be a lot of explaining to do. A lot of explaining to do. Now, whether Tiger and Rory knew ahead of time, I would like to know. Because they were really the two people that the PGA Tour leaned on the most to be able to, maintain their position. So did Monahan have a private conversation between Rory and Tiger? They let them know, hey, this is what we're looking to do. And not tell it, because not everybody needs to know everything. Let's be honest. You're not going to tell your regular employees what's going on at the front office level. You're never going to do that. Organizations that are like, oh, let's ask LeBron who he wants on his grocery list. Like, that doesn't work. It's ridiculous. You're not going to do that. You're going to operate your business, and the employees are going to do their job, and that's just going to be it. But I don't think Rory and Tiger aren't necessarily regular employees now, are they? We'll step aside. We'll be back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
From planting a simple seed to managing a global food supply, growing, processing, and distributing food is the backbone of America. You deal with food safety and labor issues, cost control, and not to mention Mother Nature. But do you have time to explore research development and biotechnical tax credits? Properly administer payroll for temporary employees. Ensure that you're operating at your most profitable? That's where we come in. We're Bean Garter. And while your business is America's food supply, our business is helping you run your business better. We'll assist with tax credits, assess your processes and controls, and so much more. And while we may not be able to help you plant your crops, we can help you realize a rich financial harvest. From the family farm to worldwide distribution of all the things you grow, grow your business better. Experience service, expertise, and simplicity at Bean Garter. Find us online, beangarter.com. Bean Garter.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Bill Simonson here for Roast Umber Coffee. It's a farm direct coffee sourced from Central American farmers and roasted in Grand Rapids. And their Nitro Cold Brew Coffee is a convenient and healthy option with no sugar or additives. So if you want a great coffee or energy drink to power you through your morning and your day, it's available in ground or whole bean or in cans. More information on the website and direct delivery to your door at roastumber.com.
Share your thoughts all morning long on the Meyer Guest Line. Call 248-951-2176. That's 248-951-2176. Now, back to Danny, Ryan, and AB.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you ride along with us. You can text the keyword sports radio, send it to 21,000, or join us at the Meyer Super 7 guest line, 248-951-2176. That's where we find Dale in Muskegon. Dale, you still there, my friend?
Oh, good morning, guys.
Good morning, Dale. How are you?
Dude, I am so excited over this LIV Golf PGA merger. I've got so many questions. So it sounds like the LIV players are going to be able to play back on the tour, correct?
Correct, but I don't think that will be able to take place during the 2023 season. I don't think any of this goes into effect until next year.
That's okay, but now we get to watch real drama. The guys that used to be friends that now hate each other are going to be competing against each other again. And all the guys that were pointing their finger down at the LIV guys, you're taking this dirty money, this horrible. Now they're going to be taking that money too, correct?
Yeah, the private investment fund will have they will have some sort of like exclusive. The PIF will invest in the commercial venture of this new joining. Everyone's taking the Saudi money. The dirty money thing can go right out the window.
Right. Well, I mean, it's a lot of you got to look at like Tiger. If your integrity is why you wouldn't go. You also cheated on your wife 100 times. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to take this money because it's dirty and I'm an honorable person, but I'll cheat with every prostitute on the planet.
Hey, now. We don't not prostitutes, Dale. They were
They were
individuals.
classy women, whatever. Here nor there, and I'm a Tiger fan. I'm just saying, you know what I mean? You gotta watch who you're pointing your finger at, because you know there's always three pointing back at you. You got skeletons too, right? But and so now let me get this straight. Also, they're going to get the LIV players are going to get to now be back on Ryder Cups and play in regular tournament and do everything, right? Like they'll be fully. So they got even if they don't get the big payday for the years, they get a big check from the first year or two until LIV decides to fold up shop, and they still get to go back in the PGA, and we get to see real drama of players who really do not like each other now. Like, there is real feuds. Phil is going to be, I mean, there might be fistfights on the course. People hate Phil for him taking the money and saying, you know, stick it to the PGA and, you know, all the beef between everybody, and now they get to be on the same course, not only for 4 times a year for the majors, but weekly. This is amazing, you guys. Like, the PGA just got so much better. Incredible day for me. And, you know, I'm a golf fanatic, and this is like WWE came to PGA Tour.
It is it is quite a drama filled and you know, it's a very complex situation as well, and how all of this is going to function and operate. But you know, there definitely is some. I'm sure there's some feelings that are genuine where people do feel, you know, guys on the tour are going to be mad at some of the LIV players because the LIV players took that big check. They ran out on the tour, and now they get to come back, and that will aggravate some, most definitely. But whether that carries over onto the course, or if everybody just kind of lets bygones be bygones, because golf is an individual sport and it kind of is what it is. How do the team events factor into this? I think that's going to be something that will be discussed. Those elevated PGA Tour events, that's something that will be, you know, brought to the table. I think that's how, you know, maybe the elevated events will be, or maybe the team events will be sort of like a LIV type of format, smaller fields, shotgun start, just a little bit different. I don't know. I'm not mad at this happening. I feel for the guys that stood by the PGA Tour. I would like to know what the tour is going to do to be able to compensate them for their loyalty.
They look stupid now, right? They look like I'm on my high horse. I'm not taking this money. And the PGA's like, we got your back. Thank you. Oh, by the way, let's take their money. I want their money too. I'm super excited. It makes for, like, I watch golf anyways. I just watch golf because I love it. I love to watch the you know what I mean, all the golf tournaments. So I don't care if it's a major. If I don't have much free time. If I do, I don't mind watching. But this makes it all the much better. And really, you got guys like Rory, who I'm a fan of these guys. Like, I don't dislike them at all. But they're screaming, looking down at these guys, and how they just got to suck it up and be like, I guess, yeah, I'm taking this. I guarantee they're not going to say, I only want the PGA's money. Don't pay me out of Saudi's money. Oh, it's an extra $1 million? I don't want that. No, I don't send me that check. Just send me this check. So it just makes them look like hypocrites, kind of, unless they reach.
Oh yeah. And Monahan, we're gonna play some audio from the commission. His light presser, coming up here in hour number 3, because there is we're definitely gonna play that because it's important to be able to hear from what he says. But he does come out and say, like, I would expect people to call me a hypocrite. There's no doubt about that. Dale Muskegee, man, appreciate the call. Love the golf. DBC on YouTube says the PGA folded in embarrassing fashion. PGA players who stayed on the tour are extremely furious. Then he made a joke. I'm not going to make that joke, DBC on YouTube. I can't relay that one.
That's funny, but yes.
Is it though?
Terrible.
Is it though?
Anthony, there's no limits on jokes. There are some that are inappropriate. That's the truth.
When it comes to
there are some that are inappropriate for radio, but
I think there's some things that are off limits.
I mean, go watch Pete Davidson then, and you'll see.
I don't care about Pete Davidson. I don't want to watch
His dad
Pete
died
Davidson.
in that, and that's literally all he does is make fun of it.
Yeah, it's that's Pete Davidson. Good for him. I'm not going to say it. I didn't support the LIV Tour for a few reasons, and now I may not follow the PGA Tour, which is sad because I love golf. That comes from Steve on YouTube. It's still dirty money. You don't have a choice unless you leave the PGA Tour. I hate that F1 is in bed with the Saudis. I wish they would break that relationship, but they won't. Yeah, Steve, they're everywhere. That Saudi investment fund is everywhere. That's what they're doing. A lot of money in sports. A lot of money in that Saudi investment fund. Like, it's just, it is what it is. All right, let's get to Bill in Knoxville, who's been waiting on hold. Bill, good morning to you, my friend. Long time no talk. How are you?
How you doing, my good friend?
I'm fantastic. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Our UT baseball team is heading to the Super Regionals, and they're going to play Southern Miss in their backyard. And I feel, Anthony, this is going to really work in Tony Vall's advantage. And I believe he'll have his boys ready.
Well,
they want to go to Omaha, and I believe they will.
I hope that for your sake that the Tennessee Volunteers baseball team has a really good week ahead of them, and they can get into the College World Series for you, Bill.
Yeah. And, of course, on the recruiting side, I've been hearing some good things football recruiting-wise.
What, Michigan?
Josh Heupel has landed a few four-star players. I mean, buddy, he's turned things around over there.
I hope that for your sake, Tennessee football is good once again. I think that the Orange Tea is a good brand for all of college football. I think it's important for Tennessee to get back into the fold, much like it's important for teams like Notre Dame, teams like USC, UCLA, Washington State, Michigan. The more diversity we have across college football, the better. We got to hit the break. Bill, great to hear your voice. Good luck to your Volunteers. We'll be right back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Hey, Meyer.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd.
Let's root for the home team. This week, shop Meyer for 30% off Tigers apparel. Exclusions apply. Meyer, your proud hometown partner of the Detroit Tigers. Now that's a winning team.
For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Go Tigers!
Bullying, lack of patience, cruelty to animals. Those are not good traits. They also happen to be critical warning signs of violence. June is Gun Violence Awareness Month, and the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police wants you to know that at-risk people often display warning signs before they resort to gun violence. Search online for 10 critical warning signs of violence and ask your local police department how you can safely make a difference.
Hey, this is Matt Shepard from the Michigan Sports Network. I love summers in Michigan because it means golf season. Now, two things always when I go golfing. I make sure I got my sticks, and I've got plenty of cold, fresh Labatt Blue Light. Whether I've just squeezed in 18 holes or I just want to relax on the patio after a long day, everywhere I go, and I'm serious when I tell you this, I tell people about the smooth, genuine taste of Labatt Blue Light. It's just a great beer. Michigan Sports Network is giving you a chance to win a foursome to Michigan's best courses. Just listen weekdays to The Huge Show and X's and Bros, or just text GOLF to 21,000 to enter. That's GOLF to 21,000. The trip includes 2 overnight stays and 2 rounds of golf, all brought to you by my friends at Labatt Blue Light. So grab a Labatt Blue Light the next time you head out onto the course and enjoy the blue skies, because blue is for Michigan summers and great times. Always enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023 Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All rights reserved. Labatt is a registered U.S. trademark of Labatt Brewing Company, Ltd.
You're listening to Michigan's statewide morning show, X's and Bros, right here on the Michigan Sports Network.
Welcome back here to X's and Bros at Michigan Sports Network. Great to have you riding along with us. It's hour 2. We missed it in the last segment. I still want to do it, though, because Lions camp opened up. So we might as well get into our Detroit Lions trivia. Boo-boo-boo. Boo-boo-boo-boo.
But before we get into it, Freddie already preemptively sent in his Johnny Morton answer for this question.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you. Wrong. All right, today's question is Matthew Stafford earned his lone Pro Bowl berth with the Detroit Lions when he passed for 4,257 yards, 22 touchdowns, and 11 wins for the Lions in what season? Matthew Stafford, one Pro Bowl.
2011.
No, wrong button.
What?
No, because that was the year I believe he was near 5,000 yards, and there's like 4 other quarterbacks also pass for over 5,000 or something.
Everyone gets the pass for 5,000. They don't let anybody play any defense.
2014.
Real bing bong. Congratulations.
Wasn't Stafford, though, like the 5th alternate and ended up starting the game or something?
I think you're right.
One Pro Bowl.
Because he got MVP, right? I think he won the MVP for that.
Might have. 2011 AP Comeback Player of the Year. One-time Super Bowl champ, one Pro Bowl. Matthew Stafford. There's a name to really get the juices flowing, huh? I'm just waiting for the Rams to get back to me. I think maybe his agent might be the best way to go. I don't think the Rams are going to ever answer my email.
Who's his agent?
Well, I don't know. I got to find that out.
We try Drew Rosenhaus.
Call Big Drew. I think that would be a fascinating conversation.
I'm not joking. Like 5 years ago, we were trying to get one of his clients on, so I emailed his office and got a response with, "Here's his cell number." And I was like, I don't think you're supposed to do that.
Well, I mean, they probably assume you're a professional. You're not going to be out,
yeah, but that
at the
doesn't
old
matter.
shillelagh at 2:30 in the morning after the Tigers get blown out for the 15th straight game, just knocking back JMOs, calling Drew Rosenhaus on his cell phone. Drew, Stan, find us somebody for the Tigers, please. USDA Scott is on hold right now. Wants to talk Tigers and PGA.
Hey, buddy. I'll be USGA Scott for a second here.
Bing bong. Sorry.
I honestly, I mean, I'm a golf fan. I'm a golf avid golfer. Although this year I haven't played near. I was just telling Dan that I just haven't been able to play that much this year. Really busy. But anyway, wanted to say, since it was Tiger, Phil, Sergio, Rory, 10, 12 years ago, where there were 5, 6, 8 guys that really went at it. And, that brought you back to prior years when it was Jack and Tom Watson and Garrett Clay. And, there was always, there was some drama to it. And I think that this, the elder statesman from Muskegon that was on earlier, I think he had it right. This might bring a little drama back to things. I don't think there's going to be fights on the courts, but I do think that there's going to be a little more heated competitive nature. And not to say that the golf isn't as good today as it was back then. I'm sure, truthfully, it's better. There's more people that are better, but I think this will put a little bit juice to it. So I don't think it's a bad thing, and I don't blame anybody for taking the money unless it's illegal. That's the only way to blame anybody for taking money. And then about our Tigers, really quick, not quickly, but I was concerned about this 10-game period 2 weeks ago, even when we had Riley and Eduardo and Vierling. I mean, you're playing two professional hitting clubs. The Phillies and the Braves are professional hitters, and it's like when you play a great offense. And you play Kansas City Chiefs in football, you know you got to score 30 to win. So going into these games, you know you got to score 4 or 5 runs to win a game. And we're just not set up for that. And if anybody questioned who the true leader of the club was, look at Torque and Javi's numbers since Riley and Vierling have been out. They were looking better, looking stronger, and since those two guys went out, they've just been horrible. They need that glue, and Riley Green is the glue. I mean, he's our future, he's our present. And on a good note, it looks like Scoobs and Manning and Vierling are close to coming back, but I don't think it's going to help us in these next 6, 7, 8 games.
They've got some issues. Riley Green, the past, present, and future of the 2023 Detroit Tigers. If only he could find a way to stay healthy. Scott, man, appreciate the call this morning. Good to hear your voice, my friend.
No problem, buddy.
That Pro Bowl, he went as a 6th alternate. He was a 4th alternate. He replaced Peyton Manning. So does that, I mean, I know that it counts, but does it really count? Like when you start talking about Matthew Stafford Hall of Fame, I like that. I don't think so. Hall of really good, but I don't think so. I don't think that, I mean, were you ever considered one of the guys at your position?
The thing about Matthew Stafford is that like he'll have one really, really good season, then 2 bad seasons, then a really, really good season. That's kind of how his career has gone since Calvin retired. So yeah, it's I mean, some people don't think Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer, so then I don't think Matthew Stafford is near it.
All right, that's fair. I can roll with that. All right. So Lions opened up camp yesterday. I got a question. Do you want to take a break from the LIV stuff, or do you want to and hop into Lions? Or do you want to keep on with the LIV stuff? I'll throw it out to you.
No, it doesn't matter. I want to. Let's talk about the Lions. There's people are claiming that the secondary is going to be top notch.
Oh,
already.
Sticky is those. See how sticky it gets. Let me tell you real quick about Tullymore Golf Resort, then we'll hop into the Lions. Tullymore Golf Resort, my friend Matt Golden, he told me personally that he wants you, yes, you, listening to the radio right now, to come pay him a visit. And Tullymore is easy to get to because it's in Canadian Lakes, which is smack dab in the middle of the state. It's an hour north of Grand Rapids, and it's 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. Tullymore not only features great top-line golfing experiences, but also top-line accommodations. You can play and stay right there. Plus, it's got the perfect space for your wedding. There's a wedding on the second weekend of July that I'm looking forward to there. Wasn't invited, might go anyways. Events, receptions, group outings, whatever it might be, it's all happening at Tullymore Golf Resort. Exquisite courses, exquisite carts. Places, wait till you see the clubhouse. It's magnificent. Call Matt Golden right now at 1-800-972-4837, 1-800-972-4837. Book your stay and play at Tullymore today. All right, so reports coming out of camp. Look, it's camp, right? We're all very excited. No negative news on Jameson, though. That's a positive, right? No negative news there. I'm not going to read into too many tea leaves about the hey, he had some drops here, but put in some extra work to get it down. The report from my very trusted friends, Jeremy Reisman and company over at Pride of Detroit, who do an incredible job of covering this team. And I encourage you to follow Jeremy and follow Eric Schlitt. They're our friends. That means they're your friends, too. And they're friends of the show. They come on here and talk about the Lions, so you should love that. And you should love them. And you should click the follow button. You should go to their website, and you should read their work because they do a fabulous job. So enough of my promo here for Pride of Detroit. But there is a prideofdetroit.com. There is a overwhelming feeling that this secondary is completely different this year. One of the Jeremy's thoughts from yesterday's camp is that, one, the secondary is a lot more talkative, right? That everybody, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, he's a chatterbox, and that's really brought out some of the personalities, guys like Kirby Joseph, Big Curb, Jerry Jacobs, some of these guys getting a little bit more vocal. Brian Branch is going to be a stud, they say. I love that. Had a really good day. They went 7-on-7, did some red zone stuff. First and second team offense. About 8 to 10 attempts inside the 10-yard line, I believe, is where they were at. Maybe they were at like the 8-yard line or something, goal line. Not necessarily goal line, but in the red zone, but not way back. And Jared Goff said it's much stickier, I feel like, this year. And whether that's a product of new players or just having another year in the scheme, I can't tell you. But it's been much stickier, much harder for us to gain separation at this point in OTAs. And I think they've done a hell of a job making it harder on us and growing as a unit over there too. So gone are, Jeff Okudah, Mike Hughes, Deshaun Elliott. Insert Cam Sutton, Emmanuel Mosley, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. You draft the second rounder Brian Branch out of Alabama. Tracy Walker returning after missing 14 games due to the torn Achilles. Kirby Joseph. My guy, Jerry Jacobs. Love Jerry Jacobs. Jerry Jacobs tried to give me a free jersey one time. I said, Jerry, I work for the team. Don't give it to a fan. Don't give it to me. I just happen to be a fan of you. And maybe that is the most notable change. And can you imagine what that would mean for this pass rush? Right? Let's think about defense in three separate parts. Right? You got your front four. You have your linebackers. And you have your secondary. And your front four might even turn into, something a little bit better, because they might even feature, 5 air quotes along the defensive line, where they might be bringing in that edge presence standing up there on the edge of the line. We saw that with Aiden Hutchinson, where you'd get out of his stance, he'd move around a lot more. But think about what that will do if there is a secondary that we have faith in that can cover. Oh, what is that going to do to the pass rush that was already incredibly good last year? If you can rush the passer, you're going to force throws. That's what you want to do. Put pressure on the quarterback, force him to throw the football, right? Because if you force him to throw it when he doesn't want to, you start to get miscues. Miscues could be low balls. They could be behind. They could be in front. They could be a little high. And even if it hits the target, it makes it a difficult catch. And sometimes it could hit the target and bounce a little bit. Now you just hope you got some guys back there with some ball skills, because that's how you start to create turnovers. And if those guys can provide even a smidge of an improvement, just a smidge, I haven't used that term in forever, of improvement there, you're talking about a full-scale change along that front line that doesn't have anything to do with personnel. You can keep the same exact group you had last year. And those guys are going to be, I mean, the numbers will skyrocket. They will skyrocket. Right? I'm looking for opposing court, like what I'm looking for out of this team, and I know that sacks are the big one, right? You want to have the sack numbers, and it doesn't matter. As I said last year going into it, and sure enough, I mean, Aiden Hutchinson was fantastic. What do you have, 9.5 last season? I'm not going to put a number that says, hey, he's got to have 10 sacks a season, because we saw him start to get more and more, especially in the second half of that Washington game last year, where it's like, hey, Aiden Hutchinson's eating us alive. We got to make an adjustment. We're going to chip and double team him every single play. Well, that can work against Aiden Hutchinson, but it's going to free up somebody else in across that line or in the next group, which would be your linebackers, to see if we can run a little bit more freely, sideline to sideline, if we could bring a little bit more heat from that next level, and what that might turn this defense into. But we're looking at sacks, obviously. We're looking at pressures. And then we're also looking at completion percentage. because that plays a huge role in how this team and what might be a good gauge for this team, not only from the secondary, but also from the defensive line. Because if that secondary is improving at the rate that we think that they have improved with the additions to the back end, I mean, that's something that we knew that we needed to get better at, but I don't think that we have talked enough about what these guys might mean to this group. And as I look up now on the worldwide leader, who's on the screen? Lions seeking first playoff appearance since 2016. ESPN analytics say a 65% chance to make the playoffs. Finished 9-8 last season. Right? Last year, OTAs was kind of frantic, but now it's more calm, according to Kirby Joseph. Now we're practicing like pros, and it's good. We're all fun together. We're all working together. Communication is a lot better. So I feel like from last year to this year, I feel like the communication has just improved a lot more, and the understanding of communication. Boy, would that be something. Mosley's going to be competing with Jerry Jacobs for that starting outside cornerback job, and he remains sidelined as he recovers from his torn ACL. Maybe we can get Jerry on. Yeah, call Jerry and see how he's doing. And although it is, this is one training camp practice and 7-on-7s, controlled situations, down and distance, all of those things. What I think is very important is that when Jared Goff says, hey, we're not leading today's conversation with, the offense is turning and burning all over the place. It's not a story about Aiden Hutchinson. It's a story about collectively our quarterback who's playing, last year, like the dude is playing some of the best football that he's ever played. And he's only 28 years old. And that's why I'm very hesitant to throw a stamp and mail it in on Jared Goff. Because I think that there is another level that I think he can reach. I hope he can reach. And if he does, you'll start to see the narrative swing around him and do a complete 180. But I think that some of the knocks, against him and how much, how the hands-on Sean McVay was in LA and getting here and going through, the first two seasons in the drastic improvements that were made last year, him doing more at the line of scrimmage, I think it's a good thing for him. It's part of the natural process of being a professional. And for him to come out and say, no, this secondary, like we're having trouble moving the football, like that's a good sign for this team. Step into a world of nonstop action on the DraftKings Casino. You can play the classics like blackjack, roulette, and slots, plus enjoy exclusive games you can't find anywhere else. Right now, new customers who deposit at least $5 can get a match of their first deposit and score up to $2,000 in casino bonus funds. All you have to do is sign up, select the offer of your choice, and start playing from a full suite of games. Download the DraftKings Casino app. Right now, sign up using the promo code HUGE. Get a match on your first deposit of $5 or more, up to $2,000 in casino bonus funds. Only at DraftKings Casino, only using the promo code HUGE. If you or somebody who has a gambling problem wants help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117, 21 plus, Michigan only, one per opted-in customer. Minimum $5 deposit, max match $2,000. Deposit and bonus require 15 times playthrough within 30 days. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/players choice. Restrictions do apply. Hour 3 is next. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
In the den.
Hey, sports fans, here's a hanging curveball that you can knock out of the ballpark. This is Matt Shepard, the voice of Detroit baseball, inviting you to step up to the plate at Eagle Casino and Sports, the mobile sports book where you can bet on all your favorites all year round, including, of course, our national pastime. So download the app and start winning today. Eagle Casino and Sports, made in Michigan, made for Michigan. Must be 21 years or older and in Michigan to play. This is a groundbreaking day in Detroit baseball history. On this June 6th in 1921, Bill Gatewood of the Detroit Stars pitches the first no-hitter in the history of the Negro National League, beating the Cincinnati Cuban Stars 4-0. Gatewood led the league in wins and homers the previous season and won 21 of his career 24 games in Detroit. Just as significant came 38 years later when Ozzie Virgil became the first black player to appear in a Tigers uniform. Virgil would play every position except for pitcher in his 9-year career. He would play just 9 seasons in the big leagues and just 2.5 with Detroit, where he hit half of his career home runs.
At Mercantile Bank, we believe in empowering the communities we serve and that financially strong individuals and families are vital for building strong communities. That's why we're committed to providing budgeting tools and interactive resources designed to help you take charge of your finances. Our friendly staff is always here to help answer questions and provide solutions to help you reach your goals. Call, stop in, or visit us online at mercbank.com to learn more. And let's help you make today count. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
For a lot of us, music and mental health are intertwined. That's why the Collaborative Lab created In Tune, a free live stream event, and you're invited. May 18th is Mental Health Action Day, so take action for your own mental health by joining us from 7 to 9 p.m. Musical performances and conversations with the Verve Pipe, Br0's, Carlos Sese, Cole Hansen, and more. Visit IUnderstandLoveHeals.org to learn how you can join the party for free.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Carter can help your business today. Go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew.
It's time for Michigan Sports Talk Morning Show, broadcasting live all across the state of Michigan and Northwest Ohio. This is X's and Bros.
Swings it out to Sadiq Bey. Gets Benny in the corner. To Abdul-Rahman at midcourt. Extra pass. And it goes for the win. The three-pointer by Jordan Poole. Here's the give. Walker. Kenneth Walker. Touchdown. Spotty. Goff's got it. Back. Looks. Throws. Ends up. Yes. Caught. Touchdown. Detroit Lions. They did it. Amon-Ra St. Brown in the receiving end. Sends one to deep left center field. Back it goes, and that ball's out of here. A grand slam from Miguel Cabrera. He's got 2 goals. Larkin in on goal. Scores! His first career hat trick in his 7th season for Dylan Larkin.
Here's your host, Anthony Bellino.
Rise and shine, folks. Welcome back here. Hour number 3 of X's and Bros coming to you live all across the great state of Michigan and in Northwest Ohio and worldwide on the iHeartRadio app from Traverse City to the Glass City, GR to the Motor City. We say good morning to you. We welcome you. We thank you. We appreciate you. Of course, we encourage you to join the program. That's where we're going right now. The Meijer Supercenter guest line. You can join us too. Call 248-951-2176. 248-951-2176. That's where we find Freddie. Good morning, Freddie. How are you?
I was triggered today. That's why I'm calling. I was triggered twice today.
Triggered twice. Man, well, that's why I couldn't. It said last 2 minutes of the segment. I said I can't. One, I didn't see it, but two, Freddie can't just get 2 minutes. Come on.
No, I just needed it. If you don't interrupt me like you always do, I would have been fine with a minute and a half. But the problem is you always interrupt me, and you try to bait me. So it's just not fair. But that's okay. I take it for the team, and for X's and Bros, the #1 show in Michigan. So that's what I do. What are you gonna do? How are you, Anthony?
I'm doing well. I didn't want to interrupt, so I'm doing well. Go ahead. Floor is yours, my friend.
Shut up. Hey, Danny. First of all, good morning, Ryan. How are you, Danny? I saw you yesterday. You tweeted out pause. Can you explain to me where Rory was yesterday?
Didn't see Rory. Didn't. Unfortunately, Rory and Hooper did not make the trip in. Maybe next time.
Was Rory cutting some New York strips yesterday?
I heard he does have a job in the grocery business.
Beautiful.
In the off season.
Anyway, before I get into my golf, USGA Scott triggered me not because of him. I like Scott because I hear this a lot. And I'm going to get to that in a second. But first on Matthew Stafford. Okay, there's trigger number 2 right there. Hall of Fame, Matthew Stafford. Okay, listen, I'm always way ahead of the game. I'm very proactive. I am not reactive. I'm always on top of my game. I'm always ahead of the game. And I was tweeting out 10 years ago that Matthew Stafford's career is going to mirror a guy that I grew up watching that is not in the Hall of Fame, that should be in the Hall of Fame. And if he isn't in the Hall of Fame, then Matthew Stafford should not be in the Hall of Fame. He was the #1 overall draft choice in 1971 or 1970. He went to a terrible organization, and then he had to go elsewhere to win the Super Bowl. That guy is Jim Plunkett. If he is not in the Hall of Fame, who won 2 Super Bowls, and the NFL didn't help him by creating this monster team, please, Matthew Stafford should not be in the Hall of Fame. That's trigger number 1, okay? Please, what are they going to do next? Retire number 9 throughout the whole NFL? Give me a break. Now, trigger number 2, and this is not Scott because I like Scott, but I hear this all the time. Today's golfers are better than yesteryear's golfers. I'm gonna turn it to my inner chef, okay? Because I listened to Shep for many, many, many years. And Shep used to get irritated when everybody used to talk about today, but would forget about the past. Okay, that irritates me. So today, these guys hit longer, and they're better golfers. Well, tell me when golf You win tournaments when you hit longer. I thought you had to be a smarter golfer. You had to be good around the greens, your short game. Okay, I'm going to give you some names from yesteryear. Tom Watson, Bellino's, Curtis Strange, Andy North won back-to-back U.S. Opens when I graduated high school in 1988. One of them was at Oakland Hills. Payne Stewart, Fuzzy Zeller, Crenshaw, Greg Norman, Nick Faldo, my favorite golfer of all time, Freddie Couples, Bernhard Longer. Do I go on and on and on? I mean, these golfers today are better than these guys? Give me a break. I'm tired of hearing that. That's all we ever talk about, today, but we forget about the past. You know what? You can't have today without a past. That's how it works. That's why you take history when you go to school, all right? Maybe some people, you know, they get an education in underwater basket weaving, but I got an education in history. So I'm done. You want to cut me off? Go ahead. You want to reply?
Underwater basket weaving.
That was a term back in the day.
Hey, look, you named a whole bunch of guys that, I mean, I'm aware of. Like, it's not that, you know, I don't know the, like, history of the game. You named a bunch of guys that played in the 90s. I grew up watching Freddie Couples, Bernhard Langer, Seve, Ballesteros.
These guys played, some of these guys played in the 70s, 80s. Come on.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's golf. You should be able to play for 20 years. But when it comes to the latest is the greatest, and that's a mentality that people tend to forget what happened in yesteryear. I have no problem with that whatsoever. I looked at the stimp meter ratings of how the courses were playing, and yes, the courses are much different now. They had to make them longer. They've got to find a way to battle technology and the way that the guys can swing it. But
Anthony, longer doesn't win. Longer doesn't win tournaments. You know that. I mean, you're a pretty good golfer. You're an average golfer. Okay, you and Dan. Longer doesn't win tournaments. You guys done the traffic jam. You believe this? Longer doesn't win tournaments. Am I right or am I wrong?
There is not a direct correlation between the furthest hitters on tour winning the most. That is correct.
Okay. All right. So, I like the golf, but I'm not as good as you guys, you know. So but I do know you got to be good around the short game, and you know I always say your second shot's the most important shot in golf. I always say that second shot is the most important. Doesn't matter what you do on your first; it's your second shot's what sets you up. That's
as much. Yes, and I would say at the professional level, yes. Because for people like me that, you know, the first shot really does matter, because if you don't know where it's going off the tee, that's the issue that I found myself in. I don't know where it's going. And if your first shot is unplayable, out of bounds, in a hazard, or in the trees, your second shot's going to be important, but you got to be able to get off the tee. All these pros can mash it, right? Everyone can hit it 300 yards. At the PGA Tour level. It's going to be tough to find somebody that can't hit it that far. So for them, it's how far can you hit it, and what club is your next club in your hand, right? And if you're 7-iron or better into the green, you got to be good, and you have to be able to putt. You have to be able to putt. Now, those with the best putting stroke, there are statistical correlations between lowest numbers of putts in tournaments and wins. Like that stuff matters. You got to be good with your wedges. You got to be good 7-iron or better, and you got to be good with your putter. For the average golfer, you got to be able to find your ball. That's a good start in the right direction.
Absolutely. The mental game. I mean, look at Ricky Fowler. You know, he can hit it wherever you want, but when it comes to putting, you might as well just put you there to putt his balls. Maybe he'd win a tournament, or at least a major.
Short game's okay right now.
Anyways, my guy Victor Hovland won last week, and I'm telling you, that kid's going to win 5 majors. That kid's special, man. Could you imagine?
Is he better than Bernhard Langer?
No, yes. But
okay.
Could you imagine being, how old is he, 21, 22 years old, that age, good-looking kid, and traveling the world, getting paid, playing golf? Could you imagine?
I can't imagine how good that life is right now.
I know. I'm trying to teach my 9-year-old how to play golf. And she said, "Why do you want me to play golf?" I said, "Well, I don't want you to play. I want to teach you how to play. You might like it." I said, "You could travel the world and get paid." And she just looked at me. She goes, "Oh, okay." I said, "Well, you don't know now, but I said, down the line, then I could be your caddy." I said, "We got it all figured out." So,
man, you sound like what's his name from the Waterboy, the dad. Me and you could be partners, just like that Tiger Woods and his daddy. We got to step aside. We'll be back with more X's and Bros after this here on the Michigan Sports Network.
They say consistency is the key to success. They weren't wrong. So how about grabbing a beer that's consistently smooth, consistently refreshing, and consistently light? You might just find that the road to success can be pretty enjoyable. Michelob Ultra, the perfect balance of taste and refreshment, and only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories. It's only worth it if you enjoy it. Enjoy responsibly. Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, Meyer.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd.
Let's root for the home team. This week, shop Meyer for 30% off Tigers apparel. Exclusions apply. Meyer, your proud hometown partner of the Detroit Tigers. Now that's a winning team.
It's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game.
Imagine this, a day filled with indulgence, bursting with excitement, and packed with extraordinary moments that build memories to last a lifetime. A day that is unmistakably yours, at the place that is undeniably spectacular. Whether you're winning big, dining lavishly, or relaxing oh so comfortably, it's your getaway reimagined at Soaring Eagle Casino and Resort.
Huge here for all the Mr. Car Wash locations across Michigan. You're going to want to look into that unlimited monthly pass that I use. Superfly Hayes, my producer, uses it. I can get my SUV washed as often as I like for one low price. You can sign up today. Just go to MrCarWash.com or stop by your local Mr. Car Wash location here in Michigan for the one close to you. And to get that unlimited pass, go to MrCarWash.com.
This is X's and Bros on the Michigan Sports Network.
Oh, man, when this song comes on, be prepared to hit bombs out there at Tullymore. Just tee it high and watch it fly. Tullymore Golf Resort and Canadian Lakes. My buddy Ashton listening to us right now in North Carolina. He's trying to book his trip to Tullymore right now. Texting me while I'm at work. I'm trying to work here, kid. What are you talking about? Let's go to Tullymore. Send me some dates, he says. Guy ran off and got married. He did. He ran off and got married. Proposed downtown Detroit, ran off and got married in the Keys. Unbelievable. Yes, they're dropping like flies around me. Tullymore Golf Resort in Canadian Lakes offers not one but two championship courses, Tullymore and St. Ives. It's located about an hour north of Grand Rapids, 30 minutes west of Mount Pleasant. And, folks, because it's smack dab in the middle of the state, it's easy to get to no matter where you are coming from. Tullymore not only features top-of-line golf, but also top-of-line accommodations and the perfect space for wedding event, reception, or group outing. Maybe you should have his reception. Everybody's interested now in the reception. Maybe you can have his reception at Tullymore. That's a good idea. I think you should do that. Visit TullymoreGolf.com. Book your stay and play today. TullymoreGolf.com or call Matt Golden. 1-800-972-4837. 1-800-972-4837. Now he's sending me other stuff. Now he's like, oh, reception. Everybody wants him to have a reception just so they can go party. That's all. That's what they want to do. They forget that you don't come to the reception empty-handed. You better have a card, and that card better be something. You come out here all freewheeling. That's the worst. All right, so Jay Monahan is the commissioner of the PGA Tour. And Jay Monahan took some, what was the guy's name who criticized him at the players' meeting yesterday? Dan
just stepped out of the room for a second. I'll look it up real quick.
Riley something?
Something.
Yeah, whatever. And he said, he mouthed off to Rory, and Rory told him to play better. It's great. Here is Jay Monahan and what he said yesterday.
As time went on, and you've heard me say a couple times, circumstances change. What changed? I looked at where we were at that point in time, and it was the right point in time to have a conversation. And we weren't, Michael, going back to the origin of LIV, and I said this, they needed to go down their path, and we were going to go down ours. We've done everything we can within our control to improve and grow the PGA Tour. And, they've launched LIV. They've proceeded with LIV. They've made progress with LIV. But ultimately, it was looking at the broader picture and saying that I don't think it's right or sustainable to have this tension in our sport, and to be able to organize and orient this in a way where, again, we're in a control position. We have an investor, a great and world-class investor. And I recognize everything that I've said in the past and in my prior positions. I recognize that people are going to call me a hypocrite. And anytime I've said anything, I said it with the information I had at that moment.
Okay, time out. A great, and did he say world-class investor? Is that what he just said? Huh. You had that information before, Jay Monahan. You knew ahead of time. These people have more money than you. This would be like trying to build a car. And you came out with like a Geo Metro. Do you remember the Geo Metros? You remember those things? I think that's what they were called, a little four-door thing.
Oh, Geo Metros? I don't think they were four doors.
Two-door?
Two doors. I remember one of my buddies in high school had one, and to mess with him while he was still like in the locker room getting, together after football practice, we get a few guys and pick up his car and move it.
Okay.
Because they were so small and light. It took four of us to get it in a corner, and we'd put it in like the median or we'd just put it everywhere.
Okay, so you're trying to build a car, Jay Monahan, and you're putting together a Geo Metro. And the guy you're competing with in this car race is building a Ferrari. You have $1,000 in your budget. He has 1,000 commas in his. There's a drastic difference. Drastic difference. A great investor. We knew that ahead of time, Jay. You didn't have any new information to say these people got a lot of cash. What happened to my audio?
The PGA Tour and our players. And so I accept those criticisms, but circumstances do change. And I think that, in looking at the big picture and looking at it this way, that's what got us to this point. It probably didn't seem this way to them, but as I look to our players, those players that have been loyal to the PGA Tour, I'm confident that the move that they've made the right decision. They've helped re-architect the future of the PGA Tour. They've moved us to a more pro-competitive model. We have significantly invested, as I just talked to Brendan about, in our business in 23. We're going to do so in 24. And as we finalize this process, I think any player that has stayed is going to realize that the money that they're going to make, the strength of this platform, all the things that we talk about are going to put them in a really strong position. They're going to win. They're going to continue to grow. And we're in a control position on their behalf as we move forward in this structure.
Okay, so I do like that portion a lot of what he said. I do. I'm going to try to get this queued up to exactly where that most important point right there.
And as we finalize this process, I think any player that has stayed is going to realize that the money that they're going to make, the strength of this platform, all the things that we talk about are going to put them in a really strong position. They're going to win. They're going to continue to grow. And
that's important, because that's the one piece here that I'm like, he's right. He's right. Because if the guys who stayed, and they can be angry, I would be angry too, but the guys that stayed and sacrificed all that money are the only reason that maybe yesterday happens. Because if everyone would have jumped ship and everybody would have went to the LIV Tour, save all your moral high ground BS for somebody else. If they all leave, the PGA Tour is what? I'm talking all of them. Tiger, Rory, Rahm, McIlroy, Morikawa, all of them. The biggest names in the sport, if they all fled and went to the other league, what would have happened? But because they stayed, they positioned themselves. The PGA Tour continues to succeed. LIV's not generating the revenue. Now, their financial backing isn't hurting at all, but their actual business venture and entity is not gaining any ground. There's no viewership. They're like, they say there's no fans. Cool, you had fans for one tournament. You only have 8 tournaments, so you should have fans. 10 tournaments, whatever it is. Like, you should have people there. You should be able to sell that out. Tell me a LIV Golf event that matched Waste Management in tickets. Tell me a LIV Golf event that matched the Memorial, that matched the Masters, that matched, I can keep going if you want me to. They can't, because there isn't that tradition there. It's the same exact principle with what they're doing in soccer. You can go buy Ronaldo. You can go buy Karim Benzema and his beautiful girlfriend. Can't leave out Jordan. You can go buy these people if you want. And that's fine. They might even get messy. And that could get messy. Different spelling, pun intended. But you're never going to have the tradition that La Liga has, that Ligue 1 has, Serie A has, the Premier League, the Bundesliga. You're never going to have those traditions. It's like the CFL or the XFL or the USFL or any other FL that isn't American college football and the National Football League. You don't have the strength of the tradition.
I think those tournaments would go away because the LIV players could go back, still play the majors, minus the PGA. Like, they'd still be at the Masters, U.S. Open, British Open. So those would stay strong, but I think those other tournaments you mentioned would go away, where as Premier League, like, Manchester United's not going away.
Will they sell to the Saudis? Find out in the coming weeks. And if they do, that means that they're going to get Neymar. Neymar's going to join Manchester United. We'll step aside because we're going to talk more golf with Bill Hobson of the Michigan Golf Live. So don't go anywhere. Keep it locked right here. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Dad, the big guy, Pops, whatever you call him. Find everything for him this Father's Day at Meijer. Shop 25% off Carhartt Men's Force tops and 20% off Stanley tools, toolboxes, and accessories. Find the perfect card to tell him how much he means to you and search for the perfect gift, because no matter what he's into, you can find it all in one stop. Plus, get the same low prices online and in-store for easy home delivery and pickup. Get more for your money at Meijer. Exclusions apply. See all the deals in the Meijer app.
Huge here for my good friend Tom Rosenbach and his team at Bean Carter. They're one of America's top accounting and business firms. They're based in downtown Grand Rapids, and now they're stronger than ever before with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Now, Dorn Mayhew is an east side firm. Now you get the west side of Michigan with Bean Carter, and whether you're a small business or big business, they can handle all of your accounting and business needs at Bean Carter. Just go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I mentioned with their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew, they cover all of Michigan, the Midwest, and coast to coast. Find out how the pros at Bean Carter can help your business today. Go to beancarter.com. That is BEENEGARTER.com. And I know Tom Rosenbach and his team are so happy about their new partnership with Dorn Mayhew. Huge here for all the Mr. Car Wash locations across Michigan. You're going to want to look into that unlimited monthly pass that I use. Superfly Hayes, my producer, uses it. I can get my SUV washed as often as I like for one low price. You can sign up today. Just go to MrCarWash.com or stop by your local Mr. Car Wash location here in Michigan for the one close to you. And to get that unlimited pass, go to MrCarWash.com.
Share your thoughts all morning long on the Meyer Guest Line. Call 248-951-2176. That's 248-951-2176. Now, back to Danny, Ryan, and AB.
Step into a world of nonstop action. The DraftKings Casino, play the classics like blackjack, roulette, slots, my favorite, craps. Plus, enjoy exclusive games you can't find anywhere else. Right now, new customers who deposit at least $5 can get a match on their first deposit and score up to $2,000 in casino bonus funds. All you have to do is sign up, select your offer, and start playing from a full suite of games. Download the DraftKings Casino app right now. Sign up using the promo code HUGE and get a match of your first deposit of $5 up to $2,000 in casino bonus funds. Wow. Only at DraftKings Casino using the promo code HUGE. Now, if you or somebody you know has a gambling problem, wants help, needs help, call the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services Gambling Disorder Helpline, 800-270-7117, 21 plus, Michigan only, one per opted-in customer. Minimum $5 deposit, max match $2,000. Deposit bonus amount requires 15 times playthrough within 30 days. See terms at casino.draftkings.com/players choice. Restrictions do apply. Hey, you know what? I knocked that one out of the park because we got a very special guest joining us here on the Meyer Supercenter guest line on X's and Bros. By the way, that's Danny and Ryan. I'm Anthony. Joining us from Michigan Golf Live. Find him on Twitter at MGL Bill Hobson. This guy hits nothing but bombs down the middle. Short game is immaculate. The putting stroke I hear at the Rocket Mortgage Media Day was just phenomenal. Bill, good morning to you, my friend. How are you? How's life? How are things, partner?
The reports are greatly exaggerated. I'd like to make sure that my handicap does not adjust anywhere, so we'll just go with it's a struggle.
Oh, Bill, he's modest, too. He is modest. You know what Dan said? Dan said he is a very, very good golfer. And when Dan says that, Bill, I know you have some game. Now, there's a lot of folks out there with a lot of good game in the PGA Tour and the LIV Tour. These two tours combined, it is the talk of the town. This news breaks yesterday. First thing that comes to your mind?
Betrayal. It was a shock to the system of everybody who is involved in the game. In fact, we spent the day at Rocket Mortgage Media Day, and had anybody there had any inkling of anything like this coming, it certainly would have been a part of the conversation. It was not. Jay Monahan is on record. I have a soundbite that I'm using on my show Saturday where he tells Jim Nance that he's so proud to be the commissioner of a tour where nobody has to apologize for being on the tour. And this is from 2 years ago. I'm wondering now if there are apologies that need to be issued. And as reports come out of the players-only meeting yesterday with Monahan, it was like a Jerry Springer episode in there. These folks are not very happy, many of them having turned down offers of hundreds of millions of dollars to leave the tour and go play on LIV Golf, and they didn't because of promises they were given, and now look what's happening. So it's a very strange time. To me, it's one of the biggest stories in modern golf history, and not for very many good reasons.
Well, one of the biggest stories in modern sports history, right? I mean, we've never seen anything like this, Bill. And my first thought here was it was kind of on two sides of the coin. One, LIV players got what they wanted, right? All the guys that defected to the Saudi tour, they got their big payday, however that money works out and whatever checks they collected. They made a whole bunch of money in 2022 and 2023, right? And whether that money, they get the full terms of their contract or not, we'll have to wait and see what happens. And the other side of that coin is, man, all the guys that didn't defect, it really felt like they got the screw.
And they did. You look at some of the guys who made very bold proclamations about why they would never leave the tour. They talked about its history, its tradition. They talked about Mr. Palmer and Mr. Nicklaus and how they had similar invitations, albeit for much less money. And they took a stand on grounds of human rights protection and morality. And now their commissioner the commissioner, by the way, who works for them. The players employ the commissioner. And so I don't know if he's going to continue being the commissioner for long. I'm sure he thinks that he is. But there are some very upset guys out there, because the other part of this that can really come back to cause some issues is, do you just welcome back the players who left, and now they come back, $200 million richer, having tried to harm the tour that made them. And are they supposed to just walk back into the locker room and, hey, everybody, how's it going? Nope, nobody's been clamoring to see Patrick Reed come back to the PGA Tour. Nope, it's a mess on top of a mess on top of a mess, and all of it fueled by both greed and I think the fear of ongoing litigation, which the PGA Tour has been trying to hold off for a lot of years. You'll notice as part of the announcement, they decided to create a for-profit corporation. Part of the tour's challenges over all these years has been operating as a nonprofit that puts you in a certain category for how you have to handle your money. And now suddenly, now that the Saudis are involved, it's okay. We'll just be for-profit. I'm telling you guys, this thing stinks from the top on down. It's messy and it's ugly.
You know, Bill, when I saw that, and in my mind, I'm trying to figure out exactly how they're going to maintain their 501 C6 tax exemptions here, and are the actual, and we don't know the answer to this, but is your first thought and inclination maybe the same as mine, is that the tour events themselves and the funds that those generate, those will maintain the PGA tax status while the paychecks come from LIV as the private investment fund from the Saudis, whatever we're going to call that. Do you think that will be financing the actual players?
Well, here's what I know for sure. There is nothing more scintillating for golf fans to talk about than how these accountants and CPAs are going to figure all this out. It's just fantastic. It should be its own reality show. I don't know. It's minutia that will take years, I think, to unfold. The lawyers will get rich as usual. The problem that I have is what happens at the local level. So, for instance, we're all very excited. The Rocket Mortgage Classic's coming here in about 2.5 weeks. It's a great event, and it makes a huge impact on the local scene from a charitable standpoint. It's real. The dollars are real, or the organizations and the people that are helped are real. All of this stuff only serves to distract from that kind of a storyline because it sweeps up all the oxygen in the room. So one of the things that irritates me the most about Jay Monahan, aside from his duplicitous betrayal of the guys that were believing the things he was saying, is the timing of it all. If you want to do all of this, if you want to have your moment in the sun and you want to break this big news, why didn't you do it in the dead of winter? Why are we doing this in the early part of June, in the core part of your season, a week before the U.S. Open, a couple weeks before the Rocket Mortgage Classic, when ticket sales are important, when we just had a great conversation with Tony Finau at the media day, and this is a guy that's as big a star and as humble a star as you could ever hope to be associated with your game, and now those stories get swept to the side because I know all we're going to hear for the next few weeks is all about this matter. So I say all that because the commissioner, truly acting in the best interest of those he represents, needs to take a course in timing, in PR, and in crisis management. And it looks like Jay Monahan just got the job from Indeed.com, and on day one decided to overhaul the entire world of golf. And I think it's been mangled.
Well, I tell you what, Bill Hobson came prepared with his thesaurus. I think I heard duplicitous and minutia in like one paragraph there. I mean, that's just incredible. By the way, find Bill on Twitter at MGL. Bill, find the podcast there as well. It's golf all the time. We love that. Now, Bill, when we look at the influx of players that defected to the LIV Tour that will be coming back, when we look, we'll try to take the 30,000 feet view here. Isn't it a good thing now that there is, moving forward into 2024, that all of these guys are back, despite the fact that they might hate each other in the locker room, we'll put all the feelings aside. Isn't it going to be a good thing for golf that we might see, whether you love them or hate them, Phil Mickelson, guys like Brooks Koepka, Dustin Johnson, some of these names back on this tour?
Yes, it is good from a competitive standpoint. I mean, Brooks Koepka is a major champion as recently as a couple weeks ago. Dustin Johnson, fantastic. Although I don't I haven't yet seen anybody clamoring to see more of Patrick Reed. But part of this unanswered question is that Monahan in his rollouts, and one of the reasons that many of us think his hand was forced into rolling this out sooner than he wanted to, is he had literally no answers to anything. The questions are, those guys coming back? Well, we're still working through a lot of issues, and in the days to come. That seems like a fairly important question to have your answer teed up for. So I don't know if it's an automatic that they will come back, or if they do, what the pathway will be. All right, so you've taken $200 million to go to a rival league. We're going to fine you $100,000 to come back. Well, that's a pretty good deal, if that's how it happens. So I don't think we know all of the details for what that journey would look like. But to answer your question in less than 5,000 words, yes, I think that golf fans would enjoy the tension, the quality of play. There are good players out there on that LIV Tour. By the way, they were also misled by Greg Norman, who guaranteed them massive exposure, bigger than they've ever enjoyed before. And he lands a TV deal on the CW, which cuts away from the final holes of a tournament. He lands a deal on YouTube Live, where less people are watching than used to watch the old test patterns at 2 a.m. He also guaranteed them that they could pick their tournaments and travel less, and that proved to be the polar opposite of what was expected of them. So I totally get the frustration of players who are thinking, is there anybody in leadership that we can trust anymore? And then I hear yesterday from Jeff Ogilvy, who's one of the more thoughtful guys on the Players Council, and he said, in the end, we are getting paid large amounts of money to hit a white ball across really nicely mown fairways and greens. We're pretty blessed. No argument. I'm blessed as well for being a part of the game, but that doesn't mean that those in charge have a blank check to just do whatever they feel like. They're supposed to be, as Costanza would say, we're living in a society here, people. There should be some rules, some expectations for at least the integrity of your word. And neither Monahan nor Norman have proven to be people of integrity through all of this.
Bill, I'm a golf traditionalist. I didn't like the LIV Tour from the beginning. 54 holes, no cut, guaranteed money. I think that's all a sham. So I didn't watch any of their stuff until Memorial Day weekend. I was in a hotel room, and one of my buddies is just a golf fanatic, and he threw it on. And I was like, okay, so they'll get my eyeballs. Like, I'm one of those. They'll get my eyeballs for these 2 hours. But after that, I'm out. And there were a couple things I did like about the actual presentation of the broadcast. I can do without the Skittles bag throwing up on the screen with their color palette of choice. But outside of that, I do like some of the different hold, the way that they actually put the whole description and the pictures on the screen. Like, I'm a visual person, big TV screen. I like to see the changing leaderboard. I like to see the bottom scroll that had all the different pin placements and the hole that the player was on and where their drive went, their second. I like some of the graphic stuff that they were trying to introduce to a golf broadcast. Was there anything, did you watch any of the LIV Tour? And if so, was there anything about the tour that you did like? Did you like the team element that they might try to bring in and maybe do some different events throughout this new hybrid tour that we're going to see?
There were a lot of attractive visual parts of that presentation, and keep in mind that LIV hired David Hill, who was from Fox Sports. He's the guy who brought us the first down line. He's the guy who brought us the glowing hockey puck, which was ridiculed back when it happened, and now everybody's using some sort of a tracer. So he's an innovator. He's a really smart guy when it comes to the visual presentation of things like golf and hockey and football and stuff that we've now come to adopt. I mean, can you imagine watching football without a first down line? Of course not. And he's the one who brought that. So they did a lot of things really well. The shotgun start's super confusing to follow on TV because it's hard to build drama when your contenders are not in the same group of holes. That's pretty tough to figure out. I get it that it helps with the pace of play and it gets your broadcast into a window. So that part I didn't like. the team aspect has a lot of interesting potential to it. I honestly don't think fans care that much about what the high flyers are doing or what the range goats are doing. We have come over the years to root for Tiger Woods. We have come to root for Jordan Spieth. We have come to root for individuals because they are individuals in a world where we're normally accustomed to team sports. I love seeing the pressure on a player, the pressure in a key moment to see how he or she can perform. We watched young Rose Zhang win her first ever tournament that she entered on Sunday afternoon. It's too bad that that's getting buried under all of this news. But we watch these individual moments of greatness without having this thought of, hey, if he makes this birdie, then the cliques could finish top two and get on the podium. That doesn't matter to anybody. And so that part of LIV has missed the boat. However, from what I'm seeing and reading from this coverage, it sounds like the Saudi representation really likes the team approach, which is, by the way, ironic that they're big into team efforts. But it sounds like that consideration is still on the table. I don't know that it's gone any further than that.
In the words of the great Max Homa on Twitter yesterday, as you referenced the cliques, he took a screenshot of a Google search. WTF is a clique, is what Max had said on the internet. Hey, Bill, I can't thank you enough for your time this morning, my friend. We greatly appreciate it. Let's reconvene and rally and talk some more golf here as soon as we get closer to the Rocket Mortgage Classic, my friend.
Absolutely. And by the way, the boys yesterday should know Detroit Golf Club better than even the membership because they saw every last square inch of it. From the left.
Saw every tree imaginable on that course.
Let's just say we all missed the cut together. We don't have to worry about a sponsor's invitation being extended to us. But it was fun to play with the guys. We had a great time. And there was, I think it was Danny made one of the most unlikely birdies, maybe in the history of the game, certainly in the history of media days. Rarely does a birdie begin with a shot clanging off of the grandstands, and yet that's what happened. You had to be there to see it. It was remarkable.
I saw the slow motion video, Bill, of Dan's majestic. We might have caught it a little thin. It was a line drive. Didn't want to be in the way of that thing, but thank God for that grandstand being a backstop. And Bill, I'm just glad you were there to be able to witness such an incredible athletic achievement.
Well, I'm just glad that the EMTs were nearby because there were a couple of construction workers harmed in the filming of that moment.
Thank you so much, Bill. It's great to hear from you, my friend. Thank you.
You got it.
That's Bill Hobson. You can find him on Twitter at MGL Bill, host of Michigan Golf Live. So happy that he brought up the shot that clanked off the grandstand. That's fantastic. And look, there's a lot of feelings. I want to real quick here. Here's one reason I despise LIV. It's because it means sports radio is inundated, saturated, and dominated by golf talk. It's an atrocity, an abomination, and an aberration. It's worse than Pistons' teal uniforms. My delicate sports sensibilities are heartily offended. Good day. That's Will driving to Grand Rapids. Have a great drive, Will. Maybe you can drive one down the middle of the fairway, partner. We'll talk to you tomorrow, same time, same place. X's and Bros, Michigan Sports Network.
Hey, this is Matt Shepard from the Michigan Sports Network. I love summers in Michigan because it means golf season. Now, two things always when I go golfing. I make sure I got my sticks, and I've got plenty of cold, fresh Labatt Blue Light. Whether I've just squeezed in 18 holes or I just want to relax on the patio after a long day, everywhere I go, and I'm serious when I tell you this, I tell people about the smooth, genuine taste of Labatt Blue Light. It's just a great beer. Michigan Sports Network is giving you a chance to win a foursome to Michigan's best courses. Just listen weekdays to The Huge Show and X's and Bros, or just text GOLF to 21,000 to enter. That's GOLF to 21,000. The trip includes 2 overnight stays and 2 rounds of golf, all brought to you by my friends at Labatt Blue Light. So grab a Labatt Blue Light the next time you head out onto the course and enjoy the blue skies, because blue is for Michigan summers and great times. Always enjoy responsibly. Copyright 2023 Labatt USA, Buffalo, New York. All rights reserved. Labatt is a registered U.S. trademark of Labatt Brewing Company, Ltd.